Hey, it's Adele from Let's Get Inkie, and today we're diving into the junk journal. I love this little baby, and it's my next project that I'm working on, and I'm trying to get it done. Let's say, I don't think I'll be able to get it done by the end of the year, but I'm hoping early in the new year I can have it all finished and do a flip through for you. Today I'm using the We Run the World collection from Flutterby Designs, and I'm just having a play around. The photo that I'm scrapping is actually a photo that Aaron took of me on my due date with Archie. Archie slept in for another 2 weeks after this, so I can't believe the difference actually in the size of my tummy there and the growth that he had in those final 2 weeks. I look so much bigger on the day that he was actually born than in this photo. So I'm using some of the Flutterby paints, and I'm using my Use It Up journal, which is, if you're new to my channel, it's just an extra journal that I put extra paint in. If I'm using a stencil, I'll also put some in there just to basically get 2 pages done for the cleaning up of one. I think that's the easiest way how to say it. I like to, if I'm making a mess with a paint, then I like to use it as much as possible, and I often use the book as a paint palette instead of having it just on a plastic dish and having to wipe it away or wash it away. I can now just use my leftover paint and just slap it in this page and have it ready for next time. So today I wanted to use this collection in particular because it's all about, girl power and strong women. And I think in those final few weeks, you really get very terrified of what's about to come, especially with the first bub. It's a very unsure time, and so I thought it was a good collection to reflect back on and be like, yeah, you got this, you've got this, you can do it. You might not have any idea what's about to happen, but you can get through it. And I just thought it was a really uplifting, some of the text that's in the collection, and I just thought it was appropriate. So here I've got a Flutterby stencil. It's a lovely heart one, and it's a great generic one to have in your collection for backgrounds, and you can use this for everything. And I'm just using some of the turquoise paint to very lightly sponge that on. The reason why I'm using the paint on my hiiiii swap mat and not in my Use It Up journal is because I've found when I am sponging it on, there's something about the texture of the hiiiii swap mat that kind of makes it smooths it along the sponge easier, if that makes sense. And so I feel like I get crisper images because the paint is evenly distributed across the sponge that I'm using and not just all clugged up in one area. So that's a bit of a tip. So then I needed something behind my photo, so I grabbed some tissue paper from my stash and I just stick that on with my ATG gun, and I use a lot of adhesive normally, you guys know this, but I use extra adhesive when I'm doing things in my junk journal, just because unlike scrapbooking where I have a plastic page protector to kind of hold in all of the bits that might fall off, with junk journals I don't. Things are just on the page, and I know in years to come, if Archie decides to look through my journals, then his hands are going to be everywhere, and the more tape the better. So I'm just sticking this down with some double-sided tape because the ATG doesn't really work very well on tissue paper or doilies, and I decided to put it on this side. So this is a junk journal made up of all sorts of different papers. I'm recording this actually in August, but this is to come out in September. I'm getting ahead with some videos, but in August, I am almost finished an online junk journal class. I'm really hoping to have it out in September, or even, let's say September. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If it has already come out, you would have known about it because I would have done a video over here. But if it hasn't, stay tuned because it will be very, very soon. This was just very me. I I love Beyonce. Fun fact about me, I do listen to pop, like top 40 things, but my passion in music is gangster rap and hip hop. I love hip hop and I love Beyonce, especially when she gets her rap on in songs rather than the ballads. I much prefer the rap bass driven version of Beyonce. And so I thought this was an extremely appropriate little phrase to cut out of the paper to put on this page. My favourite Beyonce song, or it's a tough one, it'd have to be possibly Diva, or I do like We Run the World, or 7-Eleven. Love 7-Eleven. But yes, so now a bit of a Beyonce rap tangent. I am sticking down those black and white hearts I actually cut out of one of the papers from the We Run the World collection. And the other hearts are just all punched from the paper. I used it's a new heart punch in my stash. Who's it by? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know who it's by. But it's just got a few different heart shapes on it. We're also using one of the page tabs and just kind of slipping that in here. And I love to use tabs in my junk journals. I think it's really fun and just makes it all textury when you're flipping through it. Now you can see the bottom of this page on the right there is actually curling up. And so I am going to, when I do the next page, I probably will collage some papers over the top of it, or even stick down a piece of scrapbooking paper just to give it a little bit more strength and kind of flatten it out a little bit. The thing with junk journals is because you're using so many different types of paper, you don't have that consistency of everything being ready for mixed media as you would in an art journal, in a proper art journal. So some papers don't take on paint as well, and that's all part of the fun of having a junk journal. It's kind of a bit more experimental. So here I'm using some of the tiny alphas, and I'm just spelling out "you've got this." There's no apostrophes, but I kind of just left a space between the U and the VE, and I know what that means. I could have just drawn one in there, but it would have looked like I just had a strange stain on the side of my dress. So I thought I'd just leave it. And then on this side, I'm just using my Pilot G2 pen to write a little bit of journaling. And I really have fun with my junk journals. Let me know in the comments if you have one and what you enjoy putting in yours. I kind of like to do this hybrid. I kind of call it scrap journaling, because to me, it's a half a art journal page, half a scrapbook page. I'm using photos, but also using paint and some techniques that I wouldn't necessarily use on a scrapbook page. Plus, it's in a journal, it's in a book form rather than separate pages in page protectors. So it's kind of, we'll call it scrap journaling. That can be what the term is. Here I just decided those hearts weren't jumping out enough, so I'm just doodling around those. If you want to see more photos of this, there'll be some up close pics tomorrow on the Flutterby blog, and if you want more information on the collections, they're all on the website over there. Be warned, as I have said in the past, there are a few colourful words in the Flutterby goodies, so just have a little check of them before you buy them if that's not your type of thing. I just don't use those ones. It's pretty easy to avoid if you don't want to use them in your pages. Next up, I've got this little text stamp, and I just felt like my background was very flat, very painted, and even though I've got that stenciling there, it was still very painty, and I needed something to just break it up a little bit, so I grabbed that text stamp. Time for some hiiiii shine. Shake, 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 shake your hiiiii shine. Shake your hiiiii shine. You can see also on that left hand side I've put a piece of baking paper parchment paper, wax paper, whatever you may call it, underneath that page, because it is a smaller one compared to the right hand side, and I didn't want to get paint or hiiiii shine everywhere. But this page is done. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been busy filming lots of art journaling process videos. There'll be an art journal process video every 2 weeks over here on this channel until December. I've got them all up, they're ready to go. And I've also got some junk journal videos and some more journal with me's and some flip throughs and all sorts of stuff. So keep your eyes peeled. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.